Hello everyone, and in this video we are going to discuss about Pitch API in JavaScript. So I have a file open pitch.html and I open the same file here in the browser as well. And I have attached a pitch.js and in this file we will write our code. So let's start. So first of all, let's create let users and then pitch. And here we need to provide a URL. So I will just use the spec API. And here we have different APIs, so I will use the users ones. So I will copy this link so that I can get these users data and I will paste it here. And Pitch API uses promises that we have discussed in the last video. If you don't know anything about promises, then watch that video first. So now users dot then, so we will get a response. So the response, and we will create an arrow function here and we will write what to do with this response here. So now if I console.log it, then you can see we have successfully got the data from this URL and you can see the status is okay, status is 200 and we are getting it from this URL. Okay, but where is our data? So what we can do is we will, instead of console.logging it, we will return it, the response, and we will return the JSON so that we can get the data. So we will return the data and now then, so dot then, and now we will get the data. So here, if I console.log it, then I will get this 10 users data, which is from here. So 10 users, as you can see, that will give you 10 users, and this data is here. So we got this data through this Pitch API. Now this is a successful condition. So now if we have an error, so dot catch, so we will get our error. So error and console.log error. So now let's say if I change this URL, so this URL now don't exist because we have an extra s here and it is giving us an error, but we are not getting it here. So let's say if I write here error is a string, so you can't see it here because we are not here. So this Pitch API, as long as we are able to connect to the server and talk to it whether we have an error or we have successfully communicated without any error. So in both conditions, it will say that it is okay. It will consider it as okay. So what we can do is if the response is dot okay, then we will return this. Otherwise, what we can do, else we will throw an error. So throw new error, and here we will return the status. So now you can see the error here. So now we are here in this one. So as the status is not okay, so we are returning it. Now let's convert this back from string. And now you can see error 404. So here we can write our custom error as well. So error 404, and we will write here, please try again. And let me give it a space here. So error 404, please try again. So now we are successfully handling our errors as well in the Pitch API. So now let's change it, and you can see the data. So now this is a GET request. So now let me copy it and comment this and paste it. So by default, this is a GET request. So here we can pass a second argument, and that second argument will be an object. So in this object, what we can do is we will define the method. So by default, it is a GET, but let's say we want to create a post request. So post request, and what we can do now, you can see that JSON we has 10 users. So now it is returning the ID 11. So that is the 11th user. And here we can send our data as well. So body, and we will create an object. So let's say username is equal to Khan, and email is equal to khan@gmail.com, and this is a fake Gmail. So now if we go to the network, and here in this request, if we check the response, we get here the ID 11, which is here in this one as well. So now here we can pass another one, and that is the headers. So headers, then we can create an object, and we can pass the header that we are sending the application the JSON data. So content type and application slash JSON. We are sending the JSON data, and here is this is JSON data. So what we can do is we can JSON dot stringify, so we can send this data. If we can come here and check it, so we have this data here is a payload, and as a header we have the method post, and the content type is application JSON. Now let's say we want to update some old data. So here we can change this URL. So let's say 1. We are changing the number 1. Now we got an error, and here we need to change this method from post to put, and now it will be successful. So again you can see the ID number 1. So that is the response from the server. As you can see the response here, and in similar way you can send a delete request here as well. So delete, and in the delete request we don't need to send this body here. So still the delete request is okay. And here if we see the headers, so the status code is 200, so that means we have successfully deleted. But this is a fake API, so we are not actually creating or deleting anything or updating anything in the server, but it will return it the response that we have done that. So it is a fake API. So we are not changing any real data here. So that's how you can use the Pitch API and use your own URL here and get the data or post the data or delete the data or update an existing data. So that's how you can use the Pitch API. So that's it for this video now. Thank you and see you in the next video.